2022 and 2023 have been really weird when it came to animation. The whole genre versus cinema arguments, the Mario movie casting making everybody lose their shit in a bad way, boycotting Disney and Pixar, and possibly one of the most horrendous animated shows in recent memory. And after just joining Twitter and have only seen one spectacular film that wasn't Spider-Verse, which was Encanto, I naturally just gave up. I wasn't expecting anything groundbreaking anymore, and the only thing I had plans watching was the Mario movie. Until January of this year, everybody and their moms have been praising Puss in Boots: The Last Wish. I of course saw the trailer way back when, but I remember not paying too much attention to it. I was just like, oh, they're making a sequel to a spin-off movie that I felt was extremely mid. But hearing everybody talking about Last Wish made me curious. So I hopped onto YouTube, clicked on the video having the most talked about character, and I can't put into words how I was feeling at that moment. Seeing a well-executed and intimidating villain after so long of this left me speechless. So I went and saw the entire movie, and oh my god, it's so good!
Holy shit!
Not only does this film fill all the requirements for a perfect sequel, but it also works as a standalone film. Honestly, you don't have to watch the first movie in order to know what is going on or who these characters are. And the film tackles so many deep topics that's stunning. Not to waste away your life and to value it, blood family versus found family, trust, optimism, legacy, the dangers of greed, valuing the things and people you already have, journey over destination, all that jazz. I hadn't expected this many deep subjects in an animated film since the early 2000s, an era where we had things like The Incredibles, Kung Fu Panda, Monsters Inc., Shrek, and most of Studio Ghibli's outputs. This film is also my first time seeing what the internet calls Spider-Verse animation. It's beautifully well done, and this has to be the most colorful and alive Shrek film ever created. And when you compare this to the first Puss in Boots, it's night and day. The visuals for that film perfectly reflect how I felt about that movie as a whole. Dry, colorless, and boring. In here, especially when they get to the Dark Forest, I was never bored. It's also pretty rare for me to like a new character design over the old one. Both Puss and Kitty look so much better and expressive in this animation style, and now whenever I look back at that first movie and see the OG Puss, it gets more and more unappealing the longer I look at it. Yikes. The story is also an engaging roller coaster themed around an enchanted forest that will reflect the psyches of the characters who hold the map. It's a really unique concept of a journey that keeps the quest interesting and exciting. We also get to explore a unique side of Puss that we've never seen before, his fears and negative traits. He's egotistical and so desperate to keep his legacy alive, which results in him wasting and gambling 8 of his 9 lives. Now down to his last life, he lives in fear of death and embarks on a quest for the legendary wishing star so he can wish for his lives back. He's more three-dimensional than he's ever been and goes through a believable and heart-touching character growth. Kitty Softpaws is honestly more likable and memorable than she is in the first movie, with her own subplot of her learning to open up and trust people again. It's also a very fitting insecurity for her to go through. All we knew about her from the first film was that she was declawed, so of course she wouldn't trust anybody. When I first saw Perito in the trailer, I was worried that he was going to be a complete tonal kill of a sidekick and extremely annoying. But no, he was actually funny and likable. He has a tragic backstory that he doesn't register as tragic because he's so optimistic and positive, looking towards the future instead of the past and valuing the things he already has. Basically, he's the opposite of Puss and Kitty and is someone they can learn from. He also had more of a role in the main story than I thought, being the only one who can hold the map since the forest path will reflect off of whoever's holding it. This character was a big surprise for me, and I'm glad it was. Goldilocks and the Three Bears, while a bit of a continuity error to the first Shrek film, are great. With amazing delivery from the actors and outstanding writing in these characters' chemistry, they genuinely felt like a real family, which makes the moment revealing Goldie's wish all the more heartbreaking. And when Goldie realizes that what she wanted was right in front of her all along, I can't help but smile. It's so well written. Jack Horner is a great character as well. After getting so many non-threatening villains for practically a decade now from Disney, Pixar, and DreamWorks, it's so refreshing to have a villain who's evil from start to finish with no valid reason as to why. He's just a gigantic asshole with a hilarious backstory of how nobody remembers nor cares about his nursery rhyme. As for Death, I can't get the words out. There's so many things I want to say about this badass motherfucker that I have to make an analysis video on him. He now takes the trophy for my favorite villain in not only animation, but in cinema. You know, that's the best word to call this movie. It is cinema. Amazing score, amazing visuals, great comedy, likable characters, touching themes, and a shockingly mature tone. If you've given up on DreamWorks lately like me, I highly suggest you give this movie a watch. It's really good. I think my only negatives were that Jiminy Cricket and Jack Horner weren't together longer, and I really wish they got more moments. And while the cat home served its purpose in the story, I kind of just wanted the pacing to pick up a little so we can get to the journey. But the stuff before and after Mama Luna's place is a wish come true of a film. I'm giving the 2022 Puss in Boots: The Last Wish movie a 9 out of 10. I guess you can say it was just right. Boo! I'm personally so grateful to have this film in my life, reminding me that S-tier movies can still be made. I'm kinda skeptical about a fifth Shrek film, especially because the fourth one was specifically created to end the franchise. But given how this film turned out, and how there's still so much you can explore and expand on, compared to something else like Ice Age, why not? Let's see where this goes. After seeing this film, the future looks bright for the Shrek universe. You know what's kind of amazing if you think about it? Despite that the map in Wishing Star was destroyed and nobody used it to make their wish, they actually all got what they wanted in the end. Puss in Boots now has a life that's worth 9 of them. Kitty Softpaws now has somebody that she can trust. Goldilocks now realizes that the family she wanted was with her all along. Death wanted to see an arrogant little prick die, which ended up happening. And Jack Horner wanted to control all the magic in the world, but with all the stuff he's collected, he already was. My sister Sarah also likes to think that Jack got what he wanted by fusing with the magical wishing star, and now died in the end with it and its magic. It would count as his wish coming true, and I think her theory works really well. And while Perito didn't have any wishes to make, he ended up getting a family in the end, and his very own name. Oh my god, this movie.
Oh, can I have a moment, please? Turn away.